Hello, this is Lady Boulay, and I hope you're having a great day. Thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for your thumbs up, for your comments, and thank you for sharing the videos. Thank you for all you do to support the channel. And yes, we are commanded to love one another, whether we want to or not, or whether we agree with each other or not. So, with all of the talk about the African diaspora and the conflicts that arise thereof, it is good to come across a story where kindness and compassion came together to produce a friendship. When someone offers kindness and compassion, and the other one accepts it for what it is, and something beautiful can come out of it. This is the Somali supermodel Iman, whom we know, and her best friend, Bethann Hardison. As far as I know, Bethann Hardison is Black American. She is a fashion model in her own right and an activist. She has spoken out a number of times about discrimination against Black models in the fashion industry. She is also the mother of someone we know, Kadeem Hardison from a different world. But here's a little bit about Bethann Hardison.
Bethann Hardison didn't just change the runway, she changed the game. Born in Brooklyn, Hardison started her career in the 1970s when black models were rare. Her striking features and confidence made her a standout, rocking shows for Yves Saint Laurent, but modeling was just the beginning. Frustrated with the lack of diversity, she co-founded the Black Girls Coalition in 1988. She fought for inclusion on and off the runway. Bethan is also the mother of actor Kadeem Hardison, making them a powerhouse duo in black cultural history. As a model, agent, activist and mentor, she discovered stars like Tyson Beckford and pushed for industry change. In 2013, she called out fashion houses for their lack of diversity, sparking real conversations. Her journey was celebrated in the documentary Invisible Beauty in 2023, highlighting her legacy and the struggles of black models. Bethann Hardison is living proof that beauty, power and purpose can walk hand in hand. She didn't just change the runway, she changed the rules.
So Bethann Hardison is accomplished in her own right and a trailblazer. And the way she and Iman became friends says a lot about the type of person that she is. So this is Iman telling how they became friends.
People started talking in front of me, about me, because they thought that I did not speak English. And then one day, Stephen Burrows, black designer, invited me to come to his showroom. So I went there, models were there. They started talking in front of me. Everybody said, well, she's not as beautiful as they said she is. Well, she's not as tall as they said she is. Well, do you think she's a princess or is she a good herder? Which one do you think she is? And I pretended, of course, I didn't understand what they were saying. And then so Stephen came, gave me the dress, gave me heels. I put on the dress, and for the life of me, I could not put the heels on.
And I noticed she was trembling so much. So I went over to her and bent down to help her foot into the shoe.
And all the girls in the room, they said, oh, don't do Bethann that. Now she's going to be thinking that we have to bow to her and, and do this for her. And Bethann didn't pay any attention to them.
And something told me she spoke English and looked up at her and said, you understand everything they're saying? And she looked at me and she said, yes. And that was our bond.
And she became my closest friend from that day till today. We've been through everything. She's been the maid of honor of my wedding. She is the godmother of my daughter. We've been through divorces, businesses, you name it, we've been through it together.
Shout out to Bethann Hardison for being a decent human being. I actually remember when Iman came to New York. I was living in New York. Or maybe I was there visiting my aunt. I don't remember. But I remember that there was a flurry of publicity around this African model from the country of Somalia that I think she was living in Kenya. And I don't think that we knew a lot about Somalia. We knew about Ethiopia, about Kenya, about Nigeria, about Ghana, about South Africa. We knew about most of the African countries, but Somalia was something like a mystery. So here was this tall Somali model, and there were pictures. This white photographer was in Kenya, I believe, and I think he saw her, and I don't know because it's the story varies. But anyway, he took these pictures of her, and he had sent these pictures back to New York, and they were posting pictures of her in the newspapers in New York. And this was before she even came. This was just a presentation. This was the anticipation of this African model that this white photographer had discovered. She came at the top of her game. She had the height, she had the size, she had the look. So again, she was highly promoted and publicized in New York. So that those models would be envious of her is understandable. Plus, even she acknowledged that they brought her here to pit her against the black models, specifically Beverly Johnson. They also became friends, or at least they didn't become enemies. But Bethann became her friend because even though Iman came here highly publicized, and it was already understood that she was going to be a top model and that she was going to make a lot of money, but still, she is in a foreign land and doesn't know anybody but this white photographer. She needed a friend. And that is what's so extraordinary about this story. Being a decent human being tops everything. We talked about in the last video, y'all left comments. I did not know really that Naomi Campbell had been pitted against Tyra Banks. But Tyra Banks, I believe, handled it with grace. Naomi Campbell got in a number of altercations with people, and she comes across as somebody with anger issues. So it's not surprising that she would find an excuse or a reason to be angry with somebody. So these two are lifelong friends, and it speaks well of both of them. Bethann Hardison is clearly a very secure woman who understands her own purpose in life and who seems to have lived in her purpose. And Iman, as successful as she has been in her career, she has not let fame or money go to her head. So she is also grounded. So they are really a good example of what human beings with access, with money, with fame, and a degree of influence can be. You can still be a decent human being. Okay, y'all, let me know what you think about this video. I just love this story. Give me a thumbs up and have a good day.